If you're thinking about moving to Kingsville, there's one thing nobody puts in the brochure. For 1 week, every June, this entire town gets covered in bugs, and the locals actually consider it a good sign. They call them Fishflies or Canadian soldiers, and once you know why, it kind of makes sense. That's just one of 12 things I'm about to walk you through. The stuff nobody tells you until you've actually lived here. Oh, and I should introduce myself. I'm Linda Hakr. I'm a realtor here in the Windsor-Essex, and I live just down the road in Wheatley. So this isn't a tourist take on Kingsville. This is the stuff I tell my own clients when they're deciding if this is really the town for them. And if you're finding these local breakdowns useful, do me a favor, make sure you just hit the like and the subscribe button. I put these out, I put them together for different towns around here every month, so you won't miss the next one. All right, so let's start with the downtown, because everybody sees the photos. Heritage storefronts, Main Street, it looks like a postcard. But here's the thing, it's not just pretty, it's actually very functional. You've got real day-to-day businesses mixed in with restaurants and the shops. This is a downtown you walk to and you use, not just one you photograph and move on from. Now, something people don't think to ask, is there a hospital in Kingsville? No, there is not. However, Leamington District Memorial Hospital, which is in Leamington, it covers the whole area and it's only about a 10-minute drive. So for most parts of Kingsville, okay? So it's not a deal breaker for anybody I've worked with, but I'd rather you know that going in than find out the hard way. All right, let's talk about fitness. This doesn't really get covered a lot. You've got actually more than you might expect. There's a Movati Athletic right on Main Street. If you want something smaller and more personal, you've got F45 training for group HIIT classes, and you've got Howe Fit, also on Main Street for small group training and Pilates reformer work. The one thing you won't find in town, indoor pool. That's a quick trip into Leamington to the Nature Fresh Farm Center. They have a 25-meter pool. You've got 2 ice pads in there. You've got a walking track. You've got the basketball courts, badminton, pickleball. You've got a gym. All right, so groceries, they're covered too. You got the Zayres, you got a Freshco right in town. You got a Home Hardware, you got a dollar store, the LCBO, check, check, check. All your essentials, no problem. If you want the Costco or another big box, that's a trip into Windsor. And it's really not an inconvenience once you settle into the rhythm. It just becomes part of your week. Here's where it gets fun. You are moving into wine and brewery country, whether that was part of the plan or not. So Pelee Island Winery, Canada's largest, has a tasting room right on Main Street. And you're inside Lake Erie North Shore wine region. So there's more, and you just have to drive a short way. Let's add in the Grove Brewing Company, the Kingsville Brewery, the Banded Goose right on Main Street as well, and a hidden speakeasy called 106 Weigel. Can't miss that one. And a wine and craft beer afternoon stops being a special occasion. It's just a regular Friday. And I have to mention the marinas because most people don't realize that Kingsville has 2 marinas. Kingsville Municipal Marina sits right downtown near the harbor and the ferry terminal. Then there's Cedar Island Marina and Yacht Club, which is a whole different scene. Real waterfront access, a proper beach with volleyball courts, actually a working fishing hub. There are established charters operations are running walleye, smallmouth bass, and perch trips right out of there. So if you pictured a couple of sailboats, there is a lot more going on than that. All right, so speaking of the water, if a trip to Pelee Island is part of why you're moving here, timing matters. The ferry runs out of Kingsville from August to mid-December. That's the fall and late season leg. Spring and summer, so you've got mid-March through the end of July, that leaves out of Leamington instead. All right, so let's get back to those fish flies, like I promised you. Okay, so for about a week, every single year, every June, you'll get a big emergence of non-biting fish flies off of the lake. Some people call them fish flies, some call them Canadian soldiers. They show up, they'll be on your windows, your doors. They're drawn in by the lights at night. They don't bite. They're actually a sign that the lake is healthy, and they only last about a week. So You might see a smaller wave again later in summer. How bad it gets really just depends on the wind that year. So it varies from town to town and year to year. So if you're more of a nature person, Kingsville delivers there too. You've got Jack Miner Bird Sanctuary. It pulls in the bird watchers from outside of the region, and they've got Kennedy Woods Trail System right on the property. It gives you several kilometers of walking trails. Then we can't miss talking about the Chrysler Canada Greenway. It also runs straight through town. That's the southernmost stretch of the Trans-Canada Trail. So biking a proper rail trail, it's only a 5-minute drive for most people here. It's not a weekend trip. And every October, the Migration Festival is a real community event, not just something built for tourists. Throw in Colasanti's Tropical Gardens for the greenhouses, the petting zoo, the mini golf, and you start to get a feel for how much of Kingsville identity is built around slowing down. So if you really want to slow down, there's also the Estate of Health, a holistic day spa and yoga studio right in the heart of town. You've got massages, hydrotherapy, saunas, a relaxation pool on landscaped grounds. You genuinely don't expect that in a town this size. So put all of that together and there's no surprise, Kingsville keeps pulling in relocators, retirees, downsizers, people coming from bigger Ontario markets who did their homework and chose this town on purpose. And once people land here, they stay. If you're weighing Kingsville against somewhere like Leamington or Wheatley, I've actually put together a full comparison to help you figure out which one fits your life best. I'll drop that link, it's below. Make sure that if this was helpful, you hit the like, the subscribe. That way you'll catch the next one when I do another breakdown of any of the towns. And if you've got questions about making Kingsville your home, or Leamington or Wheatley, anywhere, I'm always happy to chat. No pressure, no obligation.